Yo, yo, back once again with another review, man. Yes, continuing on the WandaVision train. This one is WandaVision episode 3, man. Almost got tongue-tied, almost got a brain fart there, but I picked it up. So I just did my episode 2 review, man. So it's up right now. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. If this is your first time coming across this channel, my name is G7. I do movie reviews. I also do other style videos too, whether it's about politics or, things that's going on right now. So yeah, but it's mainly about movie reviews and TV series reviews and all that, but more so movie reviews. But anyway, if you're coming across this channel for the first time and if you like what you see, man, hit that subscribe button, man. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. I don't usually say that in my videos because I just get so in tune with what I'm going to say in these videos and I just record. So it just doesn't come across my mind to say these certain things, but I am making videos more. So I have to say that, you know what I mean? So man, if you checking this video out for the first time, if you're checking out my other content for the first time, just, please, subscribe, man. I'm trying to grow this thing and yeah, take it from there. But without further ado, man, this is going to be my review for episode 3 of WandaVision. Now, things are getting really interesting, man. Things are really getting interesting in this series, man. I'm liking where it's going. Like I said in my last TV review of WandaVision episode 2, is that people are complaining about the pacing. I guess people are kind of like impatient, asking, okay, when is things gonna get a little more interesting? When is the plot gonna pick up? And to me, it's not, I'm fine with the pacing so far. I'm fine with everything, man. Like, all the episodes are pretty good, man. Really, really good. I'm really digging this series so far. I really don't have any complaints so far as like, the series and where it's going. I do like the style. I do like the tone. I like everything about it. It's a really good show so far, man. Really good show. And I can't wait to see where they go from here. Now, this third episode, it's much like the previous 2 episodes where the whole episode is centered around a certain theme, a certain style. So in this episode, it more so plays out like a 1970s sitcom. So in the first episode, it was like a 1950s sitcom. In the second episode, it was more so like a 1960s sitcom. Now in this episode, it's a 70s style sitcom. So I'm liking that little pattern, man. Like, every episode is like a different decade sitcom. I love that, man. I really love that. And however, in this episode, like I mentioned this in my episode 2 review, where I said even though it's set in a 1960s sitcom, it doesn't play up all the way like a 1960s sitcom. It's more so like a modern take of a 1960s sitcom. It has the look, definitely. It has the look, and it has the dialogue, it has the costuming, and it has the settings, all of that. Yeah. It has the look like a 1960s sitcom show, but the tone is different. In the first episode, it's like carbon copy 1950s I Love Lucy episode, everything, even the camera angles, like the way that it's shot just like a 1950s sitcom. So it's like watching like a timepiece, you know what I mean? Like, man, you're watching a 1950, like somebody did their own rendition of a 1950 show, and it's just like a I Love Lucy episode. In the second episode, yes, it plays out like that, but it still has more like a modern style, especially with the way that it's shot. Certain scenes, the way that it's shot, certain angles that they use is more so like how a modern show would get shot, but it's still set within a 1960s style setting. And it's the same in this episode, even though it's more so centered around this whole 1970s sitcom theme. The shots and the cinematography, like some of the angles that they use in certain scenes, is more so shot like a modern episode. So it kind of feels almost like a parody of a 1970s sitcom, rather than they just do like a carbon copy 1970s sitcom episode. But it does have the same style of a 1970s style sitcom show like the Brady Bunch, because that's like the theme that they went with. like a Brady Bunch TV episode. It even had the intro like a Brady Bunch intro. You know what I mean? So I like that kind of like dedication towards, you know, the whole sitcom vibe, the whole sitcom theme, and them rolling along with this theme, going with this TV thing. Like I love that, man. I think that's one of the things I like about this series the most so far is, you know, that you know, playing up to that old school kind of like sitcom feel, because it gives you like that nostalgia feeling like, man, you know, we all watch Brady Bunch, we all watch Bewitched, we all watch I Love Lucy, and we remember those shows were classics, man. And to kind of like bring that classic feel to like a Marvel Comics, you know, to a Marvel Comics series, comic book series, it's pretty unique, man. This is a pretty interesting show, man. I love that. I would have never thought that, you know, taking certain Marvel characters and putting them in like a TV sitcom kind of like theme and making a show out of it. I would have never thought anybody would do anything like that. But, you know, Kevin Feige, man, like I said, I give it up to him because he's thinking outside the box with this, and they're going all the way with it. They're really dedicated to this whole theme and this whole style. And I hope that they do other shows like this. Not so much of copying like old TV shows or something like that, but just something just like totally unique. Like just something just like outside the box. You take a character from Marvel and then you make like a certain style show around that character where you're like, how does the two mesh? How does the two fit? And then somehow it just works. I really like that, man. I really like that. This is a different take. This is a different style. Just using Marvel characters, and man, that's one of the things that I like about the most about this series. And I'm probably in the minority, but I love this series so far, man. I love where it's going. I don't think that it's going slow. I don't think that it's going slow pace. I think it's just going right. It's hitting the right beats. It's hitting the right notes for me, and it's gradually getting better. It's gradually getting more interesting. Instead of just, okay, we just gonna start out with something, and then, you know, it could start out like that. It could still be good, but I kind of like that gradual pace, that gradual uptick. Like each episode, it just gets more and more interesting. In the first episode, it had just like one scene of just this like suspense and this eerie kind of vibe where you're asking questions like, hey, what's going on? But it was just that one particular scene. Then in the second episode, they gave you a little bit more. And then you're like, oh, okay, like now they're showing this, they're showing that, and you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like, all right, I want to see how this plays out. And then the third episode, they give you even more. So with this episode, it's more so like they're giving you a little bit more, and certain questions gets answered, at least for me. Because in my last review, I kind of question like, okay, is Wanda in her own controlled reality where she can control certain things around her, or could control everything around her? And she's just in like this, like I said, her own escape reality where she could just control certain things and she just wants to live in it? Or is it some outside force that created this reality for her and she doesn't know what's going on? Well, in this episode, that kind of gets answered. Because in one of the scenes, Vision, he's coming from outside and Wanda's in the living room. And then Vision is like, he's noticing certain things. And he's telling Wanda, he's like, wait, something is not right. I'm noticing this, I'm noticing that. And something is just not right here. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. And then Wanda kind of like snaps him out of it. And then the scene cuts back. It kind of like rewinds back to like before he said that. And then he kind of like gets back to normal, gets back on this whole family vibe, and, you know, started talking about, you know, him and Wanda and the baby, because this episode is more so about Wanda being pregnant. That's where the second one left off. So this episode picks up where the second one left off, where Wanda is pregnant. That's pretty much like the main plot of the third episode. It's Wanda having these babies. So Wanda has twins in this episode. They didn't know that she was going to have twins because, you know, she popped out one baby and then a couple minutes later, she's having another contraption and another baby pops out. So she has twins, and then she's having twins. And one of the characters in this episode, she actually shows up in episode 2. She's actually Wanda's, like, I guess her and Wanda is really good friends. Her name is Griseldine, I think. I'm kind of mixing that up, but I'm pretty sure her name is Griseldine. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comments. But yeah, her friend Griseldine is with Wanda in one of the scenes, and Wanda is telling her about, the twins, and Wanda tells her that, yeah, I had a twin, I had a twin brother, and his name was Pedro. Of course, we all know that's Quicksilver. And Wanda tells her that my brother died. And the best friend, Griseldine, she turns to her and she says, yeah, your brother died by Ultron. And then Wanda is like, wait, how do you know that? Like, who are you? So Wanda starts grilling her at this point because she's like, how do you know all of this? Like, who are you? And then the friend, Griseldine, she's wearing a necklace. Now, I didn't mention this in my last episode, but in the scene, remember in the scene where I mentioned there was a toy helicopter on the bush that Wanda picks up? Well, on that helicopter, there was a symbol, and it was a symbol with a sword with a circle. And in this episode, the best friend is wearing a necklace with that same symbol. It's a sword with a symbol. So Wanda notices that, and then she's like, hey, wait a minute. I know that, like, who are you? I've seen that symbol before. Who are you? And she's like grilling Wanda, and the girl, she wouldn't answer. Griseldine, she just wouldn't answer. She's like, yo, just chill out. Like, like, it's nothing. So she's trying to, like, protect her cover because she's seen that her cover is getting blown. So we don't know where this girl is from. Well, we do know who she is, but we don't know how she got there. You know what I mean? So Wanda's grilling her, and I think Wanda tells her to get out, or she's like coming close to her. And then the scene cuts to another scene where Griseldine, she falls from the sky. This is the scene that was in the trailer. If you remember, it was a scene where it was nighttime, and then you saw the big billboard that said, I think, welcome to Westview. And then you saw a character just like fall down from the sky. And then where she falls at is she's like by an army, like by a military base. And then the army, the soldiers is coming towards her. That scene that you saw in the trailer, that's in episode 3. So yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Wanda like kicked her out of her reality, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so this character, her name is not Griseldine. If you're an MCU head, you know who this character is. This character is, and even when she popped up in episode 2, I'm like, that's Monica Rambeau. That's Captain Marvel. Like, that's the original Captain Marvel. Like, yeah, that's Monica Rambeau. And yeah, that is, they didn't say it was her. They didn't reveal it in the episode that was Monica Rambeau. But if you've been keeping up, and if you're in tune with the MCU, you know that is Monica. Because we already knew the cast and like certain people who's going to be in it. So yes, that is Monica Rambeau, but she used that name Griseldine as a cover. But like I said, they didn't reveal that in the episode, but you could kind of put 2 and 2 together and say, yeah, that's Monica Rambeau. Now, even though Wanda is in her own kind of like creative escaped reality, because it seems that Wanda is in her own escape reality, and she's trying to like keep Vision alive, or have Vision alive. Because remember, in Avengers Infinity War, Vision dies. So maybe this is like an alternate reality that Wanda created where Vision is still alive, and she could live happily ever after with Vision, and they can have a family and yada, yada, yada. That's why when certain things happen where it kind of like is going to cut away from her reality, she like protects it and says no. And then the scene kind of like reverts back to before that point. So it seems like, yeah, she's in her own controlled reality, but other people, outside entities, could enter into that reality. How they do that, I don't know. Maybe it's just an open portal that you could just walk through, and then you're in her reality. You're in her own like little bubble. You know what I mean? It could be something like that. Because in the second episode, I forgot to mention this too. It was a radio on, like, she's having a confrontation with one of her neighbors after like this town, like this neighborhood, like this town meeting. And like the radio comes on, and it kind of like says, I think it says, Monica, not Monica, but Wanda, are you there? Like, pick up, like, Wanda, are you there? Pick up, pick up, pick up. So maybe that's somebody from the outside trying to like signal to Wanda, like, hey, like, where are you? Like, you need to get out. So it seems like she created like this big reality bubble for herself, and other people could enter, like outside entities could enter in. Because in this episode, a lot of the same characters that was in episode 2 shows up in this episode. And then one of the scenes where Vision, he's with his next door neighbor, and he's with two of his next door neighbors, and one of them is telling them about Griseldine, and he's telling Vision that, yeah, she's not from here, like she's from somewhere else. And Vision is like, wait, where is she from then? She's like, the way how he said it is like she's from nowhere. Like Vision is like, wait, what? Like she's not from here. What are you talking about? Like, where is she from? And like, it seems that he's trying to like reveal to him where they're all from, because it looked like they're all from the same kind of place. But then the other neighbor is like kind of like stopping him in his tracks a little bit, and she's kind of like trying to protect their cover. So I don't know where Monica and these other 2 neighbors, where the other people came from. But yeah, it seems like Wanda is in her own escape reality bubble. And then other people could enter in. Like I said, how they enter in, I have no idea. We have no idea. We just got to keep watching the rest of the episode to see how it plays out. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for episode 3, man. Like I said, it's getting pretty interesting. I'm pretty much like anticipating to see what happens next, man. It's getting more and more interesting. So I'm wondering if it's going to continue on with this pattern of each episode takes a style of a certain decade sitcom. So like this episode was a 1970s sitcom. I'm wondering if in the 4th episode is going to be like a 1980s sitcom, or they're just going to break that whole pattern and they're just going to go with something completely different, where they're probably just going to be jumping around in different styles, because in this episode, like certain scenes play out like that. There's a lot of craziness going on in certain scenes. So I'm wondering if in episodes 4, they're going to switch it up a little bit to say, you know what, maybe it will start out like an 80s sitcom, but then it will kind of like switch styles a little bit, maybe go to modern day, like go to the outside reality and then cut back in, and then it starts getting a little bit crazy from there. Or it's going to be more so like how it was playing out in these 3 episodes, where the full episode is going to be more so like a 1980s sitcom, and then certain things happen and maybe a certain character comes in and then we get more answers. You know what I mean? So it's just a wait and see game from here. I think episode 4 comes out next week. I'm pretty much caught up right now, so I'm good, man. I'm doing good, because usually when I watch TV shows, I watch like the first few episodes, and then I would just not watch. I wouldn't continue to watch, man. So I'm keeping up with the series. I'm caught up now. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what happens in episode 4. I don't even know how many episodes it's gonna be, but I'm excited for this series, man. I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see more, man. Yo, Kevin Feige, man. He's that dude, man. He's that dude. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I love this show, man. I love this show because of the unique take that they're doing to it, and like I said, just the commitment that they're just going all in, and they're just saying, hey, man, let's just go balls to the wall, man. This is a TV series. This is not an MCU style thing. We don't have to do like what we do with the movies. Have like some kind of like contain. We don't have to contain ourselves, man. This is, you know, a Disney Plus show. Let's just go all out. Let's experiment. So it just seems like they're just experimenting with this show. And hopefully we get more shows in the future like this, to where they take a certain character and they create a certain concept around it and just make something unique out of it. And yeah, man. So that's pretty much it. This is a long review because I had a lot to break down in this episode, man. But yo, until my next, I'm going to continue on with this. So when episode 4 comes out, be on the lookout for my review next week. And like I said, man, if you watch this review in its entirety, man, I thank you so much. And yeah, until my next one, man, subscribe and all that. I don't even have an outro, dog.